Larry over there running the Denny's dressed up like Pikachu, like, you know.
That was Charizard.
Whatever.
Was
It
it
was Charizard?
Pikachu?
Whatever. He was dressed. He had a tail.
I don't know what it was.
He had a
It was
tail.
Charizard.
You know, I get the sports growing and evolving, but I do see what like I would consider like more or less like pro weights, like filtering down into like these. Let's be honest, like these smaller local shows.
10, like 8 high reps, higher amounts of reps. So
Yeah.
that way you're really focusing on your certain cues, certain techniques, lightweight, and then as you progress, then you would get up and move and hit your 5 reps for strength.
Any discipline, you're gonna have like practitioners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And practitioners can get really fucking good. Like
Fail a rep, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then next thing you know, we're back into it, and they want to do it now.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Man's Cabana podcast. I am your host, Matthew J. Lepore, and I'm with Ryan Ziegler and Destyn Snyder. I'm sure you guys have been seeing Ziggy on the podcast at least twice now. You were last on, we were in Maryland for the Viking Con. Yeah. So we're going to be going over a bunch of different topics. Truth be told, I didn't have this planned. Like I had a plan, and the plan fell, and then now we're here, and then Ziggy goes, "Hey Matt, what's the culmination of topics we're going to be talking about today?"
Word.
And I went, kind sire, there's actually so many topics in my head that I just couldn't choose one. And then he realized you're bullshitting. And yeah, so welcome back, guys.
well, thanks for having us.
Ziggy, how are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Destyn?
Great to be back.
Great to be back. So we just came from Strongman a couple hours ago, and now we're sitting here. So Ziggy, talk to me how like you program those Sundays, because I feel like when we get there, you already kind of have this whole like set plan. Do you think about them like weeks in advance, or is it like a night before thing, or?
No, so it's advanced in the sense that like I'm sure you've realized like we do things on a rotation, so I'll kind of like go between like press, deadlift, odd object, kind of rinse, repeat. But then I'll tailor that to like whatever comps the majority of the people have coming up, and what I feel like strengths and weaknesses we need to work on as a group.
Sure.
Kind of factors in. So I'm usually about 3 to 4 weeks out, but then that usually is a baseline plan, because as things change, and I'm like maybe saw something the week before in whatever we were doing, so it's like maybe we'll focus on this. So like things do kind of change last minute, but the vast idea is drawn up a couple weeks in advance, and then specifically tailored to like the vast majority of people's competitions. So like mostly this summer, with a lot of people doing PA Strongest, we've been tailoring to that. Like today we did a lot of stuff for beer muscles, because we have a bunch of people doing beer muscles in a few weeks. So just really however that's going to fly within that rotation, which is nice because it makes it actually easier on me, because I can program in like the type of warm-up, strength, whatever, the basics. But then that event-specific work, I don't necessarily have to like put a ton of thought into, because it's like, all right, well, these are the comps so-and-so's doing and this group's doing. Let's just pick those comps apart for the event work.
Okay, that's smart. So then Destyn, when it comes like with like, his programming and how he works, now coming from college football, how was the programming for the college football and how they had you lift? How is it the same and or different of how he lifts and what you're doing now?
In college, it was a lot of ollie lifting, so you do more clean, snatches, like deadlift, bench, squat, traditional things like that. In season, you're doing more trap bar stuff, like not really trying to kill yourself for the week, depending on what you have, like what games you have. If you're on a bye week, you might go a little heavier, or you might focus on recovery, like once you're in season, but you're really hitting mainly just the essential lifts constantly, like just in a weekly rotation. Like in the beginning of the season, when you first get there, they'll probably test you for maxes, and then once you get through camp, get through the first couple weeks, and then the end of the season, you do maxes again, and then you're in the off season to see what you progress to. So
when it comes to like reps and sets, how does that work? Because I know, do you do 5x5s, or do you do like 6x3s?
I'm like a 5s for strength is kind of my biggest thing, but I also like if I'm doing maximal stuff. Like if you notice, like I don't do a ton of 1 rep max stuff. Like I like 3 rep maxes and 6 rep maxes. Kind of stole that from Westside. Like those daily
Exactly like
maxes.
that quote. Yeah, exactly like that.
You know, I like that stuff as well. But like if we're just building strength in something, like typically doing rep schemes of 5 is kind of like where I like to be.
Okay. So then with Ursinus, how did that work when they had you working on like, were you in that 5 rep range or were you working
It varied because you had certain lifts, like with the ollie lifting that they had you doing, you had to be technical. So there'd be like, first phase is like 10, like 8 higher amounts of reps. So that way you're really focusing on your certain cues, certain techniques, lightweight, and then as you progress, then you would get up and move and hit your 5 reps for strength, and it'd be 4s and 3s and doubles and triples at heavy weights, and then you'd eventually end up hitting maxes and seeing where you're at.
How do they run their maxes?
It would just kind of be like you would know what day it was, so it'd be kind of centered around the season. It'd either be during like a bye week or something when you'd have the rest, and then you would just come in and with the team split up. You'd say, all right, you'd see only like your team builder app maxes, put your numbers in, and then do it with everybody.
So then how is that now? How is it having like strongman? Because they say a lot of people who do college sports, even high school sports, it's like you're lifting, you're working out, you have a goal set in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're to beat whatever team, to wrestle whatever team, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
How is it then transitioning out from that into like, I don't want to say the real world because that's not, because it is the real world, but like how is it transitioning to not having that sport?
It's a transition, but when you have something like strongman where you kind of can compete every day, either if it's with yourself, with people you're in the gym with, like you could go to the gym and start getting out, say a keg, and next thing you know, everyone else shows up, so you know what, why not? And then you're in the gym maxing your keg with each other, and it's kind of turned into a comp day where everyone's just going at it, and then pushing each other. Like someone's wanting to tap out, say they fail a rep, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then next thing you know, we're back into it, and they want to do it now.
Yeah.
Did I meet you your senior year of college?
You met me. I didn't start training until my senior year, strongman.
Yeah,
But then I was still like taking the class sometimes and stuff my like sophomore and junior year.
So I actually remember telling you like, yo, football's almost done. Here's what you're gonna do afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I saw him doing. I'll never forget. I came to the gym one day, and I see Destyn doing power cleans and then running across the gym and pushing the sled, and I was like, okay, I like where this kid's at. I watched him for a little while, and then I think that's how we sparked up our conversation. I was like, yo, Strongman, what's up? You gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first comp?
Stars and strength. I didn't start competing until after I finished school.
Yeah, 'cause you couldn't risk getting hurt.
Yeah, because of football and everything, and then I blew my knee up.
It was that early, or
Yeah.
or was that recent?
Yeah.
You started
Damn.
training a long time.
I started
before that,
training,
but we had
like-
to train you around football.
Yeah, I had to train around football, and then I got hurt in November, and then we had to get surgery in February, and then came back from that.
Interesting. Okay, because you know what it was, because I feel like you've been doing this for so long, at least training with it for so long.
Yeah.
I just assumed you did a lot of comps.
I've done Stars and Strength, I did Vikings, and then I did Sparta, Pagoda, and I think that's it. And Delaware's.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah.
How many
And
comps have you done?
12, 13, something like that, maybe 15. Not much.
I would have
I
thought
do
from
about
like 1,700 now.
I'm not that old, man.
Just joking. I'm just joking.
No, so I was doing CrossFit comps until 2019, and then and then I started doing strongman.
And you go,
Yeah,
That's I can't, it's just hard.
and so I try to do about 3 a year.
We do strongman.
You have the coolest background for that. So people will like ask me, like kids, or like if they see the podcast, they see the clips, they're like, "Oh, who do you get coached by? Who helps you out?" I'm talking about Zach, obviously, my crazy Hawaiian awesome friend. Which, quick shout out, he's having a kid, so I'm really happy for him.
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
Zach.
man. He's
Congrats, brother.
But
He's
yeah,
gonna come out fucking benching.
dude, yo, his kid is gonna be the strongest motherfucker that is ever going to exist.
That's great.
But yeah. So long story short, they're like, yeah, what do you do for strongman? I'm like, well, my coach, my confidant, he's been doing this for like a long time. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. He got a certification in prison. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. Don't mess with us. We're the but no, it's cool. But like, dude, like it's so cool because the way that you train and the way that you do things, I think, and the way that you and Marissa try to her, is like you guys really kind of like add like a family environment to it. Like, take today. You looked at me and went, how many you doing today? Goes, all right, cool. I'm like, I'm feeling good. And you're like, all right, I'm going to beat you. I'm like, great. Now I'm going to go cry in the bathroom. And I'm like,
I got to give you something to work for.
You gotta beat him.
were you there the day that I shit my pants on the duck
Yes.
walk? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Were you there for that? Dude, after that, that's the third time I shit my pants.
You got a problem.
Dude, I did it at Beer Muscles.
You need to
Sorry, Katie.
figure it out.
I've done it twice.
Really?
Yeah, twice. One time in a competition, one time in training.
You guys aren't terrified that's going to happen to you like all the time?
You get.
I've quit lifts because it's
been
gonna
close.
happen.
Yeah, you get close and it's just like nah.
Well, so talking about comp stuff, one thing I do religiously with comps is one, my diet's cleaned up prior to comps anyway, so that helps a lot. But I take Imodium. I take Imodium.
You gave me that at Viking.
Yep, I take Imodium before every competition, whether I'm having problems or not. I'd rather just block myself up and deal with that later.
Yes,
That way, there's not an issue.
You gotta know what foods. You gotta know what foods do it to you, and stay away from certain food.
Well,
like,
yeah.
if,
Well, the
like,
problem is good food does it to me, like
Yeah.
food that tastes good.
Mm.
But luckily, before comps, I'm typically eating clean, so it's not as big of a deal. But
Yeah.
regardless, I'm gonna pop the Imodium because I don't want to shit my pants.
Well, dude.
Also, one thing about strongman comps, let's be real, there's typically like a porta potty, maybe two, and 6 400-pound sweaty dudes have already fucked it up.
Yep.
So let's, I don't want to be in there anyway.
Or the lines in the one singular men's
Bro.
bathroom.
I did a bunch of comps there.
Yeah.
And like that was the worst part always. Like one freaking bathroom. And I pee a lot. So it'd be like waiting in line to go pee, knowing that like your next event is coming up and trying not to be that guy who's not there when they call your name. Yeah, I don't miss that. I miss the Lions Den, but I don't miss that.
Oh, the Lions Den, dude.
It's a great gym.
It was a great gym, dude. You know what's pretty cool though? You're gonna like McMillan's.
You never been?
Never
Well,
been.
it's not at McMillan's.
no, it's at the brewery, isn't it?
Yeah, PA's is being hosted by Lauren and them, but it's at
Try to double check that.
it's at Victory Brewing.
I meant
Yeah.
I thought it was at McMillan. They have a nice little you'll miss that
They're
shit
hosting
though.
it.
You ever drive past it?
Victory?
No, McMillan's.
I've been there a couple times.
It's literally have you been there yet? No?
I might try and go out there and
Dude,
get my hands on some
Ready?
things.
You walk in, you go down this small alleyway, and it's like industrial as fuck. Then you go to this like door, and just leads you right in there.
It's a great gym.
It's an awesome gym. Evan Singleton came out of that place. Is his name still on the wall?
Last I was there, it was. But yeah, no, they're hauling the gear into Victory Brewing for that comp, so it'll be a lot of the same implements, but it won't be there.
Interesting. It's what's pretty cool is like that's who I know. Power Plant does it at 2SP.
Mhm.
They're doing it at what's the
Victory.
brewery?
Victory Brewing.
Victory. Oh, dude.
The other PAs is at KOP. Is it La Casino?
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
Convention Center.
Dude,
You can go do an event and then go put 50 on black and come back and see what happens.
Why's it got to be on black?
Why not?
yeah.
Black odd.
So Zach texted me the other day. He goes, "Yo, do you have a comp that you have implements?" And I'm like, "No, not yet." So he then goes and chooses that one,
You picked a good one.
and I'm like, "Hey man," and he goes, "What's up? Are you being a pussy about it?" And I was like, "Well, no, sort of, but I'm gonna be away." And it all looked so cool. It's a heavy comp.
It's very heavy.
Very
comp.
heavy
Looks good.
comp. Yeah. So, speaking of like heavy comps and the implements and the different places, how do you guys decide on which competition you're going to do? Or do you just see one and go, that looks cool, I'm going to do it?
You want to go first?
50-50. It's a 50-50.
50-50?
So, like, some comps, it's like, that one sounds fun. Like, it's like, okay, it's for the Viking comp, for instance. It was like, he found it, and then everyone else, we were all talking about it. It was like, that actually sounds like cool. Like all the natural, the Mauser, like all the natural stones, like the Denny's, all that is like cool. But then sometimes it's also, all right, what am I good at? So like PAs for, like not even PAs, Pagoda. Like I was a good presser, so circus dumbbell, it was fun. And then it was also his show, so that was a little bit more reason to do it.
Hey, we'll talk about that in a second. I didn't have a choice, so.
No, you did not.
I don't think any of us had a choice.
I would have been highly disappointed in all of you. Now, for me, I'll do a couple different factors. Like, first and foremost, like, it has to be fun. None of this is paying my bills. Doubt it ever will, especially on the wrong side of 40 now. So,
Master.
yeah, bring it on. Can't wait. So it's got to be fun first and foremost. I don't want to say choose the easy way out, but for me, like my rule of thumb is like I've never found a comp that's like 5 events that I'm like, yes, all 5 events are fucking great. I like to be like 4 strong events, like 4 events that I'm like, those are fun. I like doing those events. Cool. And then the one is my reason to train a weakness.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that too, because I want one, I don't think you'll ever find a perfect comp, but it's like I want to find one that's like, okay, this is a reason to do X, Y, and Z that I don't like doing. So for like PAs coming up, like I hate Conan's wheel. I hate it.
I don't like it.
I hate Conan's wheel, but all the other events looked fun. Like Viking press is an easier press, and I'm not a great presser, so that's like, okay, cool. Like not gonna fucking zero and look like a clown, but I gotta
short arms.
I gotta but I still gotta train that because it's heavy, but it's not gonna look bad. The lever deadlift with all the odd handles just looked like that's different and fun, cool. I love loads of any kind, so like max keg load.
You're a child.
Set myself up for that one.
I'm so sorry. You were
Set
saying
myself up.
You're such a
Loading events.
I got you. Ready?
Loading events. You ready?
Yeah, I'm
Back
ready.
in. I like loading events. So like having a keg load for max, that's fun for me. What's the other event in that?
Duck walk.
Duck walk.
Straight
You know what? I don't actually like that.
That's how I shit my pants.
Straight pain.
Yeah.
Straight pain.
But I like moving events, so there's another moving event, so that's cool. Even though that's probably on the lower end of a moving event that I like. But yeah, so like it's got to be fun. I like 4 strong events, 1 reason to train, and then moving on from there. Outcomes, not really that worried about it. All comps that I've done where I've been super worried about doing well, I tend to suck in. And all comps that like I go in with like the right mentality of like just here to fucking compete and have fun, I tend to do really well in. So I don't know if it's staying calm helps me perform better. Like good example. So that Vikings comp, fun fucking comp, right? But I got it in my head that even with only a few of us in super heavyweight, like I had to like show out and win, and I was like focused on winning. I think it had a lot to do with moving to the new gym, having a lot of you guys signed up, like, oh, I'm coaching. Like, I gotta show out. I got really in my head, and I made dumb mistakes. Like, I lost that show for no other reason. Like, yeah, John Uwan's a cool dude, and he's very strong, but, like, I only lost because I made dumb mistakes. I didn't listen to the rules when they said that they weren't doing split times for that stone load.
Yeah.
Where you guys watched me pick up the heavy stone in training.
Yeah.
But then I said to myself, I just dusted him on the first 2 stones. I don't need to lift the 3rd stone, so why get all banged up? And then because of that, we got a tie in that event. Even though I did it faster, there was no split time. Mm-hmm. So I should have just done the 3rd stone, and I had plenty of time to do it. And then in the block press, I knew I was going to suck at that event.
I hated that.
So I just threw it away. But reality was, because you ended up failing your last lift, had I done my 2nd attempt and nailed it, we ended up tying.
Yeah.
So I ended up losing that show by half a point. When I could have won the first event, and I could have beat you in that event. And that would have, beating you in that event would have at least put me in a tie with him.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, John and I did the tiebreaker event just for fun. And I destroyed him in it. It was a stone put.
I lost that one.
Oh yeah.
It was a stone put, and we had been training shot put for Stars and Strength,
Yes.
so I was like primed. So I won the. So had I not made that first mistake, I would have won the show. Had I not made that second mistake, I would have at least had a chance to win it in the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And then I won the tiebreaker. But it's like I got in my head, made stupid decisions. If I had just cruised and just competed against myself, because if I was competing against myself, I know me, I would have picked up that third fucking stone, because I would have only been concerned about my output in the show.
Yeah.
So that was, dumb mistakes, man. So it's got to be fun. It's got to look forward to it. Good vibes. Like one of the biggest reasons I picked PAs for my next one. If you look at the super heavyweight board, I've competed against all those dudes at one time or another, and they're all just cool as shit. We're gonna have a good time. Whoever wins, wins, and we're all pretty competitive with each other. But there's not gonna be shitty vibes in the place. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Getting experience, like me being new in this, like
That
so,
was
like
well said.
Delaware's baddest. I signed up, I think, 3 weeks before. Like it was not too long after Pagoda, and then it was just like, why not? But then it had a fickle finger, it had a fire truck, it had
I love the fickle
sandbag to shoulder, it had Husafel carry like for speed, and then like a deadlift. But like I really wanted to do it just for the fickle finger, the shoulder, and then the fire truck, because those are 3 things I never did in comp. But then to get my hands on it and do it in comp, now I know for next time certain things like cues with the fickle finger and things like that.
You did so well at that con too, so it should be said that there wasn't enough heavyweights, so you got bumped up and competed at super heavyweight using the super heavyweight implements and still took second.
Damn,
which
dude.
is dope.
Yeah.
Big boys eat, know what I'm saying?
You did good.
Oh, sushi. Anyways.
You always thinking of sushi, man.
No, that's cool, dude. I forget who told me. Maybe it was Marissa, but it was like that you got moved up.
Yeah.
That's a big undertaking too, because like, were the weights the same or were they different?
They were
Heavier.
heavier. Yeah.
Slightly heavier.
Slightly.
Not terribly.
Because it was a
Nothing
lot
out
of
of
those
your
at
league.
max, yeah. Like the sandbag to shoulder wasn't
Should I make a confession live on air?
that you totally just let me win the sandbag to shoulder.
No.
Oh, what?
I didn't let you win that. I wanted no business with that last bag.
Oh.
That was actually one of those moments where I was like, all right, I just got to get the second bag, and I win. No, actually, the promoter for Delaware reached out to me about what I thought about combining the weight classes and if I should drop the weights for super heavyweight to heavyweight since you were coming up. And I went, well, actually, the dude's my boy. We train together all the time. He can handle it. If I get a say, I say keep the weights the same, and he'll be fine. And you were.
Sweet.
So, sorry, I made you lift heavier.
Oh, well. It always happens. Sorry.
I had faith in you.
Yeah.
Without faith, we have nothing.
Nothing at all.
You know what's crazy though too with Faith?
What?
I never knew her. Anyways, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. See, this is the problem. When people when I go on Instagram and on TikTok, I see these stupid dad jokes, and I immediately go into the bank, and then I know come Sunday, you guys are just gonna fall for it every time. So then I just use it and use it. Yeah. So, you recently just put on a show, very successful at my dad.
Thank you.
With the Pagoda City Showdown.
Yeah, man.
I think you and I are even talking about doing like a post Pagoda
Yeah.
podcast.
We did talk about
We did
doing
talk
that.
about
Yep.
that.
But I was doing all this stuff, and then I got sidetracked. Anyways, point being though, is talk us through some of the stuff with the undertaking of how you even begin to put on a show.
That was an undertaking, man. It was. I was suited for it in the sense that, like, I come from a music background. Like, I've been a concert promoter. I've helped put on festivals. So I'm not unaccustomed to, like, having a lot of rods in the fire and, like, putting on, like, a gathering, if you will. Instead of trading speakers, for weights and bars and stuff like that now. But, like, it's all kind of relatively the same in that sense. But the difference being with this kind of stuff, too, the amount of detail that's got to go into thinking about how you program the weights. I set a goal with my wife because she was very instrumental in helping with especially the very early phases of this. We wanted to put on a show that was like welcoming, but not too easy. But we didn't want to see a lot of zeros. Like one complaint I have with shows recently at the local level is, we got a lot of these shows getting put on. They're super heavy, and I'm not trying to act, like a bitch or anything, but you'll see stones now at a local comp, something like 400-pound stones.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch like World's Strongest Man in the 90s, like a 330-pound stone was a big stone.
Yeah.
I get the sport's growing and evolving, but I do see what like I would consider like more or less like pro weights, like filtering down into like these, let's be honest, like these smaller local shows. So it's like I didn't want to crush people, but I also didn't want people like getting a million reps. So finding that balance, and I think we did good on some of it. Some of it, now having the experience, I would have probably made certain things a little heavier. Might have lightened a few other things in the sense, but yeah, that was like the first goal, was like trying to find that balance with the weights, getting it all in line, lining up, working with the sponsors. Like I Drink was so cool with helping out with all that stuff, especially Bobby and Elise, like with just logistical planning and things like that was crucial. But yeah, just getting all that fine detail put up. But then the one other thing that was like majorly different from concert promotion was athletes. And like we had a really, really good athletes, but it was kind of hilarious to me, some of the questions I would be getting almost daily, like leading up to comp, like the emails I would get. Like
who would ask stupid questions?
Never you.
Never Matt. Like just, like caring so deeply about some of like, to me, was like trivial stuff.
Yeah.
I found that funny. And I tried to be like pro and answer everybody's question diligently and fast and try not to judge. But like, there was definitely a few times I was like, really? That's what you're concerned about?
Yeah.
Like, you're concerned about, the brand of deadlift bar. Like, it's a deadlift bar, man. Go lift weights.
Really? You're getting questions about like a brand of deadlift?
Oh, brands, yeah, brand specific questions.
Can we do the ballerina spinning?
Yeah, like type of yoke we'd be lifting over. Like, does that matter? Like, why does that matter?
It can be a pose. It really, yeah.
Like, what does that matter? But just the ballerina swirls with the Denny's, that was funny.
Until that one Sunday when you were using us as guinea pigs, you were like, all right, we're not doing this, and everyone's seeing this, and we're like, what are you talking about? You then explained it, and I'm like, what? I went to TikTok, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Doesn't make dollars.
Well, so, okay, that's a good point with putting on shows, too. And I was having this conversation with Nicole earlier today at class. She was asking me a question about the type of footwear for the deadlift event. She likes to deadlift in socks. I was like, well, to my knowledge, they didn't write anything in the rules about if you had to wear shoes or not. Typically, they do if you need to wear shoes. So you should be good. But I'll tell you right now, if it's not written down and no one asked that question at the rules meeting, I wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
If they don't say it's a no, it's not a no.
Yeah.
I was like, a lot of people try to do these tricks. Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? And they like asking a million questions at the rules meeting, and they blow themselves up.
Yeah.
You'd be better off just going on the radar. Well, you didn't. Like that was a good one. I had a kid email me. I didn't even know this was a thing before Pagoda. Hey, can I wear grip shorts?
Yeah, I've seen them. They are a thing.
I had never seen grip shorts before, and I was like, I don't even know what those are. So, sure, I don't know what they're going to help you with or why. But, yeah, go ahead. Wear grip shorts, man. I don't care. I don't
saw
know what
them
they
for
are.
the first time from like at Sparta. They did
Really?
it. A guy had them. He had on like a whole. It was like a whole like grip shirt, grip shorts.
You know what, though? I will admit, after doing the keg, I did with like the 300 load the other day, I should have chalked my legs.
Yeah.
But, like, trying to bring it over, it was sliding down my legs.
Yeah.
So, if I had on grip shorts.
Yeah.
Well, you just chalk your legs.
But for a
A
max rep sandbag event, I couldn't see
how that would help them.
where the advantage was. So I just said, yeah, sure, shoot it. But like stuff like that, it's
It
just
only
like
helps with like your pick. You got
Maybe, but it also might, in my opinion, too, it might get in the way of your pick because you're
slide, you get stuck.
Especially with like a 300-pound bag. I'm going to be doing a lot of sliding and rolling. I want to exert as little energy as possible.
The same thing with the keg, because I feel as though if as you're pulling it up, it just
The keg feels easier than a sandbag.
it's just so much easier.
It's easier to pick because you got handles, you got grips on it.
Yeah.
But it definitely damages you more putting it over the bar.
Oh,
That's
for
okay.
sure.
So like,
Damage is fine.
for longevity's sake of your training, that's why I wouldn't be doing massive amounts of keg loads prior to a keg load event. I'd be doing lots of sandbag loads. Practice the keg for sure, but don't like bruise every piece of your body loading 400-pound kegs a ridiculous amount of times.
Yeah, what were we going to say?
It's like stones; they just tear you up.
Yeah, tear you up.
That was the heaviest. Actually, that was the first time I ever loaded the keg over bar.
Really?
Yeah, I never had to comp with it. I don't think
like in comp, I've never.
I don't think we've done them on a Sunday in the 5-6 years I've been there.
It's hard.
And well, I think the other thing too is we didn't have that loadable keg yet. So when there were comps for like beer muscles that one year, I didn't do it, but they were doing like keg over bar, but I had other things that I was working on or I couldn't go those Sundays. So then the one kegs weren't loadable. We only had a couple. And then when we got that Bartos log or Bartos keg, at that point no one was doing them. I think I've only touched that thing maybe
You
20
gotta have a
times.
pit crew for that keg.
What?
You have a pit crew for that keg. You gotta
Yeah, dude.
loaders, and it sucks if you have the little ring on the bottom and you gotta take all the weights out of the keg.
Yeah.
And then
You should see us on Sundays if you actually should come and bench, and you'd have a great time. Anyways, I'm
scared.
Why, dude? It's a lot of fun.
it's scary.
You're sitting right where Doug's sat.
Scared.
Dude, Doug's like the nicest.
I'm just fine.
I don't know, dude.
I don't scare too easily, but
Bench isn't like yours, Matt.
He doesn't
Our
like
benches,
me.
our benches are not like yours.
It's because of Zach. Zach is the only reason that I'm any morsel good at that thing. The whole realm. Like, the science he does and the math that he does it blows my mind. Him and, you never met Roman?
I've never met
Mustachio?
him. I've listened to him on your
Dude,
podcast.
Another great fucking human. Love that dude. But these guys are like, when I tell you they read, they like do math. These guys are so technical. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like an idiot all the time when I talk to them.
Oh, I've read
Genuinely.
I've read the West Side books. They are textbooks.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys are proficient in them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, I have read them once. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference.
Dude, Roman talks about it he talks about it all the time, but he has like on a story, he's like, oh, this next book he's reading, and it's like the I don't even want to butcher it, but it was some like lifting thing with physics and stuff like that. And I'm sure he's gonna listen to this and be like, Matt, it's this, you idiot. And it's just so technical because like a lot of times like I kind of can gauge the training, I can do the math, and I know roughly what it's about. But like when I tell you, like Zach has sent me actual clips and audios of Louis Simmons, like, you really gotta lift it this way because a lot of lifters are doing this, and I'm like, holy shit, you just have this like on hand. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Westside.
Yeah, listen to your podcast. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I when he told me that, I'm like, you went what? He goes, yeah. He sent letters and wanted
that was the coolest part of the story for me was like his persistence to get there.
Yeah,
that's dope. Too cool.
I've never I've truthfully I've never met anyone like Zach. But I think that's the one cool thing about the sport is like you have people who consistently are always trying to learn and always trying to be better at it. But I don't know, man. There's some people out there that like really know what they're doing.
Well, there's any discipline, you're gonna have like practitioners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And practitioners can get really fucking good. Like, even take like the medical industry. Like, doctors have practices because they're practicing, right?
Yeah.
You're a doctor. You're a pretty smart guy. But then there's like those standout doctors that are like the best in their fields that, You know,
Yeah.
the one brain surgeon you want that travels around the different hospitals because he's the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have that in any discipline, man. Like, you're gonna have just those standout people, and like, lifting's gonna be no different, man. Because you're gonna have guys like Zach that like Zach could probably have applied like all of like the brain power he's put into becoming like just a wealth of knowledge of lifting into like something else. He probably could be like building robots or like saving lives or
Dude,
something.
for sure.
But, like, you know, he chose to become the shit at coaching lifting, and
Dude.
but the world also needs that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell everyone, I'm like, yo, like, check him out, like, talk to him and like work with it, because he's just a absolute wealth of knowledge, and that's what's so cool. And like lifting with you guys on Sundays, because a lot of his stuff is very technical. But then on Sundays, I'm like, oh, I can like have a little bit of like a less regimented
No,
like
it's different sports.
different sports.
Now, you can still get technical with certain things.
Oh, for sure.
There are some strongman events that are technical, but at the end of the day, a lot of times it's just grip it and rip it. Let's go for a lot of these events. But
Yeah.
some little tips and tricks that we try to like distill, because at the end of the day too, like, strongman's a sport that grew out of circus. It was circus tricks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you had to be strong, but there's also some like element of like, hey, you could brute force this or just try X, Y, and Z to make it a little easier
Yeah.
and look cool. You know, some of that too. Finding those is fun. That's what keeps me like wanting to learn. How can I do this just a little bit easier?
Less energy,
Less
more
energy
efficient.
expenditure. Yep.
Yeah. So now to get away from it, because we were talking about it. Pagoda.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So when it comes to finding like not events, venue,
There you go.
venue, dude. Brain power 0% currently. Okay, so you obviously had an in with those guys. How do you settle that up? Like, how do you go, hey, I want to do this? Do they just go, just this day, this works?
Yeah. So funny story. Reverb is owned by one of my best friends. I was working there when they first opened. My bands have played there many times. Owner's like an absolute brother to me. So it was obvious, like, when I was originally going to do this competition at my old gym. That was the plan. I was going to do a comp at my old gym. I was going to
At Pack?
At Pack, I was going to do a small comp there. Nothing to the scale that Pagoda ended up being, thank God. It actually worked out to be a blessing. But I was going to do a smaller comp there to get my feet wet, and honestly give them the money, because it was a not-for-profit gym and all that.
Oh, not to stop. You were going to do it at Pack. Was this before you came?
Before. So we had
Oh,
actually.
so this was already in. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we
Sorry.
had already been in the very early stages of planning Pagoda prior to me leaving Pack.
Yeah.
We actually had a meeting about it. We talked about a day. It was originally going to be May 11th that following year. So we were like one full year out. I want to say we had our first meeting about it in April. And then I ended up leaving Pack in early June. So it never really materialized. But because we had put the ball in motion, like, I had contacted Lauren McMillan, who's the PA state rep for USS, told her what I was planning on doing. She loved it. She said, yeah, let's go forward. So kind of had the date secured with her. Wasn't up on Iron Podium yet, but we were, had a date secured with her. We're going to work on getting it sanctioned next. Then everything happened with Pack that happened with Pack. So we're like, fuck, do we still do the show? Like, I want to do the show. Like, I already had these conversations with Lauren about doing the show. I own a gym's worth of equipment myself anyway.
You do.
I was like, we could still do a show without like Pack's support.
Yeah.
It's not like we needed them for equipment. The equipment we were going to be using was going to be 90% mine anyway. Maybe we should think about keep going. We're kicking around ideas, and we kicked around the idea of Reverb, because obviously we have the connection there with the owner. And I was like, oh man, that would be freaking cool, man. Like, we'd have the stage lights, we'd have the big PA system built in, we'd have the bar, we'd have the food, big parking. Like, that could fucking work. So I contacted Chris, the owner, and I was like, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this. Is this something you'd be even remotely interested in doing? He's like, that sounds kind of cool. And then he was like, wait, this would be like during the day. I'm like, yeah, dude, we'd be starting pretty early in the morning. And that was really the only hiccup, was like, they're nightclub people. You work in the bar business.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was the only hiccup, was like getting the staff there early
Yep.
instead of being there at night. But at the same time, he was like, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm going to have a night.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, the club was in operation, but like we don't have to be open till 2 a.m. And he's like, that's kind of cool.
Oh.
So it ended up kind of being like a little experiment for both of us, and it seemed to work out pretty good. I mean, they were happy. We, definitely had some hiccups in the like setting up and all that in the morning. I remember we had a lot of trouble with the sound system at first. Like with the microphones, we were having trouble getting the wireless mics working, which is kind of crappy on our part because like I come from the music world, I should know.
Yeah,
I actually had my drummer there who's owns a studio, so I was like, but none of us could figure it out. So eventually, like somebody from Reverb showed up and was like, "Oh, all that stuff's over here," and we were able to get it worked out. But like stupid stuff like that, we had a little trouble with, but the venue ended up working out really well. They seemed happy. I would definitely, if and when we do another one there, which is a high probability we will, I'll probably set up the crowd a little different. Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like one area we dropped the ball was we kind of let like the crowd free for all.
Yeah.
And like they just like set up in inconvenient places. Like I got to be better next year about like where people can set up camp versus where they can just freely mingle. Like the one bar was like hard to access because of that.
Oh,
like the U-shaped bar in the center.
Yeah.
So we got to like have like camp areas set up next year. But stupid stuff like that, you figure it out as you go.
Yeah. Now,
bring it up.
I
know what you're gonna say.
You know what I'm gonna say. I'm sorry. I won't if you don't want me to.
No,
2 hours.
Hey, you only learn.
You only learn.
Now
there were a couple people like I know Dob and a bunch of them were like, listen, you've talked to Ziggy about like a post Pagoda, you gotta talk about this. So the deadlift.
Fail.
Everything, dude. There was a point where, and that this is coming from a competitor, where we were blowing through this comp, and I remember I had to work that night, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it's like 12 o'clock. We're done 4 events. Like
right.
we're moving and grooving, and then we're done 3 events. We're moving and grooving. I got 2 left. Then we finish, and then we all gather around. I'm like, hell yeah. And then,
So
the classic.
for the people that weren't there or weren't familiar with what happened, was the plan was we ran 4 flights of athletes. So we had 4 events out of 5 going the entire time, and we rotated between those 4 with the 4 flights. And we saved the last man standing deadlift event for last. And my big grandiose plan was we'd have a men's and women's bar set up right in front of the stage with the stage lights pumping, the music blasting, and just put on a freaking show with the silver dollar deadlift. Because, for those of you who aren't familiar with the silver dollar deadlift, it's an elevated deadlift that you can typically lift a lot more than your standard deadlift. So the numbers were going to be bigger and flashier. And, we're putting on a show. Like I said, it's a sport that grew out of the circus. That was something I tried to keep in my mind, too. I wanted to put on an entertaining show for the crowd as well as the spectators. That was a goal of mine as well. So I was like, we're going to put on this freaking show with this deadlift. And so it was last man standing, meaning like you lift till you break. Heaviest weight lifted is your final score. Cool. Knew it was going to take the longest. Knew it was saving it to the end. Like Matt said, the show was humming. I was so proud of how everything was going. Like my staff, all my volunteers were crushing. Like Jimmy running the truck pull was smooth as hell.
Yeah,
the
he
girls
was
running
dope.
the bag. Everybody running the dumbbell. Larry over there running the Denny's, dressed up like Pikachu.
That was Charizard.
Whatever.
Was
It
it
was Charizard?
Charizard?
Whatever. He was Charizard. He had a tail.
I don't know what it was.
He had a
It
tail.
was
He had a tail.
Charizard.
He had a tail on.
He picked up the 300 sandbags, shouldered it. Or did he shoulder it? I think he picked it up, but he PR'd in the thing.
In a onesie.
Anyways,
Anyway. So
it was like 12
the
o'clock.
show's humming. Like we were crushing it. I was getting so many compliments from athletes. Like, dude, this timeline, killing it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm the shit. Everything's great. We're doing good. And I knew the deadlift was going to take a while. I had it pegged for about 2 hours,
Okay.
like start to finish. So I think it was like 12:30ish when we started the deadlift. I was like, perfect. Like 2 o'clock, 2:30, deadlift's going to end. We're doing awards at 3. Everybody's out of here. Cool. I think we did awards at like 5.
Yeah.
Because the deadlift ran forever. And what it came down to was totally can't blame anybody but myself. First problem was I completely underestimated how many athletes would go as deep as they went into the weights.
Shout out Paul Wald.
So, yeah, I mean, lightweights pulling 700 easy, and I'm going, shit, this is not what I had in mind. Like, I expected 700-800 to arise and, like, most of the guys to be done. Like, your handful of beastly smaller guys, most of your super heavyweights and heavyweights still lingering around. So maybe, like, 15 guys left, you know what I mean? And I think 700 rolled around, and it was still, like, close to 30 people. And I was like, oh, I've got this way wrong. And I will say, I did the same kind of math, and I based it on a lot of, like, the test runs we did.
Yeah.
So I did, like, the same amount of math for the women, and I called the women perfectly. Like, I will give myself that. Like, the women went exactly how I thought it would go. I had, like, the women tapping out in the 600, like, the last couple in, like, the 400 to 500 range, and then a few beasts going into the sixes, call it, and that's exactly what happened. The men were just going and going and going. So completely underestimated them was the first problem. Second problem was, I'm not trying to shift blame, my fault, but I had Willie Wessels, the president of USS Strongman, doing the judging, which I was super pumped about that he was there, dude rules. And he's just super happy, positive guy. But also in the back of my head, I'm going, fuck, let Willie judge. Who's going to argue with Willie Wessels if he makes call?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the man says it's a lift, it's a lift. If the
He was making some pretty decent calls, too.
If the man said it wasn't a lift, it wasn't a lift. Cool. Like, this is perfect. Like, no one's going to argue with the boss. You know what I mean? You got a problem? That's the president of the organization. Take it up with him. You know, which is great. Completely take some responsibility off me. Willie loves this sport. Like, loves this sport, loves people being successful at it. You know, I've had, through planning a pagoda, I really got to know him a lot better. The man is genuinely out to grow this sport. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Willie. He's the man. But, like, he, in that essence of wanting to be, like, everyone to do well, everyone to have a good time, he was overshooting some of my rules. Like, one of my rules for the deadlift was, like, you could have a platform if you needed it. Like, if you were worried about the weight not clearing the floor, you could have a box or you could have a mat. But you had to pick it before, and if you didn't, it was out. And then Willie was giving people 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 chances. And I know why he was doing it, but, like, that wasn't in the rule set. And part of the reason that wasn't in the rule set was for time management.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You make a bad call. Like, you don't want to pull the weight as high, so you don't pick a box, and then you can't pick it. Cool. Sorry, bro. You're out. You had an opportunity.
Yeah.
So that started throwing a wrench in the time works. But then at the same time, Willie and Lauren McMillan, Lauren being the state rep, at the same time were then both like, yo, bigger jumps.
Oh, my.
And I was like, cool, down. We got to do something to save this. So we went to some bigger jumps, and more people still got through it than I thought would go through it. I think we went from like 700 to 800 in a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went from 8 to 9, right? I think it was that.
We did 8 to 9. I think.
Yeah, 8 to 9 after. Yeah.
And so we went 7 to 8, and I expected drop like flies, and they didn't. Good on them, but also they were getting a lot of chances. So the time just got eaten up. Between all those factors, blew the deadlift. It was like my biggest disappointment of the show, because I thought we planned so well, and for like a first show, and I say we because I can't take credit for all of it because we had so many people helping us. It was really like a team effort, but you know, we planned so well, we executed so well through that one deadlift mistake. And then probably the only other thing I'd say I would do differently, and this is just like a dumb little thing, but like my DJ, who's Mike Boiler's old dear friend of mine, I told him, I was like, yo, party music beginning part of the day and then get super heavy for the deadlift. And I think he just heard super heavy because it was fucking heavy. Dude. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a heavy music guy. And even me, by like the end of the day, I was like, I am overstimulated.
Yes.
Like, is too many people, too many loud noises,
Really?
too much adrenaline, too
Dude,
much
that shit
testosterone.
makes my brain like happy. Like the one day I had a rough day at work, so I put on the song Ronald, which you guys put on at one point with Tech Nine, and I'm like leaving work, so like my shift code's like half on, half off, and it just starts heavy, just right away. Immediately, I'm like, just driving my car. Oh, this is great. People think I'll be listening to like Taylor Swift, and I'm like this, and I'm like, no, I'm like fucking. But not to like switch it, but you talked a lot about the deadlift, and you talked a lot about negative things. What was one thing that you were like, this was fucking awesome, this was dope?
Oh, it's easy. Like, first show I ever put on, sold the fuck out, way quicker. I didn't even know if it was going to sell out, but like way quicker than I ever expected. In fact, to the point as I had people dropping, I was able to like refill it up. We ended up with like 86 athletes because we let a bunch of those Army guys in last minute from the Army recruiting team, which was hilarious to watch.
That was interesting.
That was interesting,
Dude.
Hey, do it for the troops, man.
Yeah, little tidbit. I was actually expecting, because like at our gym, we can say our gym now because you guys don't go to Pack anymore. Anyways, we have there's a lot of guys like Tyler Straub, he's active duty, one of the strongest motherfuckers I know. Yeah. You have guys that were like that have full on like take all these I can't think of his name right now, but has like Marine Corps on his arm. Some of the strongest guys. I'm like, and I'm thinking these guys are coming to a comp and they're in the Army and they're gonna be competing. I'm thinking they're like the guys I live with on a normal basis.
Yeah, no, it didn't seem to be.
And
that
I
way.
was like, oh, I'm not trying to be a dick, because I'll take the heat if people come at it. But like, I was expecting, like,
no, those were like 18-year-old fresh recruit.
yeah,
like, Army guys. But hey, good on them.
They did
it.
good though.
They did it. But yeah, so sold out show. But what made me the most happy, like the thing I will say is awesome, is like, yes, I heard negative feedback about the deadlift, but the vast majority of people, and I knew a lot of the competitors. You know, with 80 some competitors, I probably knew 60 of them well.
yeah.
That might have been the most fun show I ever did. Like, or dude, top 5 show ever for me, bro. Like, dude, so fun. Like, and then the first timers, like, I almost feel bad. So many people, that was their first show. Like, we had a huge novice class. And, like, I was really catering to the novice people, like, trying to make sure they had a great fucking time. So I was talking to a lot of the novice people and then being like, oh, my gosh, it's so fun. I can't wait to do another one. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, yes, that's amazing. But at the same time, your next one might not be like this one. Like, there's some big ones. Like,
Yeah.
Beer Muscles is an event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, you show up to some of these other ones, they're just regular strongman shows. And that's cool.
Well,
I'm worried that some of these novices are going to show up and expect, like, a couple hundred people in the crowd, loud music, bright lights, the whole show. And let's be real, how many times have we showed up to a comp at a gym with 50 competitors and maybe another 50, 60 spectators, and
Yeah.
that's the comp.
Well, I'll tell you what. My first ever comp was in Delaware. It was the Strength of Giving 2. Cool thing, the gym, I cannot make this up, was literally the size of half this basement. Cool guys, dope people. But it was all in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And it was maybe 20 competitors.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Great people, great gym. I don't think the gym's there anymore. But when I went, my next comp then was Winter Wreckage. And I'm like, whoa. Not a whole lot of stuff going on, but like people are everywhere. Like people, and I'm like surprised that people are coming out just to watch. They have no stake in the game. They don't have people.
Mm-hmm.
They might have like one person there. Maybe that's when our beef started.
That is where our
Yeah,
beef started.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, still the funniest thing to this day. It still cracks me up because I really thought you didn't like me.
That's funny.
Because I'm like, who is this guy? And you know, here we are. So yeah.
I hate you, dude.
Well, I knew Matt
What?
back when he was young Matt, and there was a rumor that it was like, yo, how old is this kid? Every year wrestling, it's like, this kid's a senior, right? And then the next year's like, what's he doing here still? And it's like,
Yeah.
They were holding him back.
next thing you know, it's like 3 years. Like, all right, now
Well,
what are we doing here?
Well, because the whole thing was like in like the way Springford works is when you're in ninth grade, you're in a different building, and they don't consider that high school for sports. But for wrestling, in 8th grade, sometimes they'll bring kids up.
PV used to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I remember I got brought in. They're like, hey, we don't want you to be on the middle school team. You're gonna come wrestle with the big kids.
Big
And that's where I
kids.
saw a lot of the. Dude, I got dropped on my neck. Christmas Eve, my freshman year, I had to go to the hospital.
Fun.
Sounds like Matt.
Yeah. Wild times, man. I was young, dumb, stupid.
Don't you steal that?
I was just gonna make that joke, so thank you for that. So when I go and cry tonight, you're my reason.
Sweet. You
But,
put my name on the wall.
What?
Can you put my name on the wall?
Yeah, I got you. You know what I said the other day? Some of my runners, they're all young kids, great kids. Both are young, but they also got a little they're mean.
They're mean.
They're mean.
I've heard some things you say.
I can be mean.
I've heard
but
what you say in the kitchen.
Not to the kids though. Actually, if anything, they're mean to me. I think they're mean to me because I'm not going to be mean to them because they're young. So I think that's why they can. Anyways, the other day I go, Cody, you're my 13th reason. This little girl, I'm not going to say her name, but she goes, can I be the 14th? And I'm like, who are you? Go away. She goes, I'm clocked in. I'm going to stay here. I'm like,
She's not wrong.
bullied. I just get bullied. I think it's my face. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but on a different note, dude, it really was an awesome comp. Like I was having the time of my life. Like think about it this way: when Christine's parents came, they're very stoic people, very
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania Dutchish kind of people, really great people. They even were having a little bit of fun. Her mom was smiling. They're having a great time.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, dude. You had awesome vendors, and the one vendor was like, or maybe it was one or two of them. Like the proceeds go to like veterans,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to have a couple veterans charities there.
and like that's dope. Like
We actually have the one vendors in the gym right now, Perseverance. You can buy shirts.
I
at
just
the
bought
gym.
a shirt.
Yep.
I just bought a shirt the other day.
That goes. So that program, if you're wondering why the shirts are sitting there, it's run by my buddy Joe, who's a combat vet. Not put his business out there, but he had some rough transition back to civilian life, and he found the gym was like his best medicine for his mental health. And now he's doing this program. They sell those shirts. They get the proceeds. He then takes a local vet and pays for their gym membership.
Well, do me a favor. Can you say all the stuff so people can go and reach out to them?
Perseverance.
Just look it up.
Yeah, it's Perseverance
Give me
on
your phone.
Instagram. I think it's maybe Perseverance FW for some reason. I'm thinking that.
Well, I'll put it above you too. But it's just it's actually gonna be like right here. It's gonna
there?
yeah.
I was saying my parents came out to the show. They haven't really been to a strongman
There,
comp.
dude, your
And that
family's
was-
awesome,
That was cool. My brother came. It was like the day of his graduation, so they literally had to like turn around and
dude.
shoot up there to it.
They
But
are so
it was
cool.
it was dope. It was cool for them to see it and to see some like how they felt about it. But then your comp kind of did one thing for me, and
What
it
was
was I was it made me have a realization because I was like it was a long deadlift time. It was hours.
You're a dick.
I'm not. I don't care. Hey, all I know is I did my second pool. I did it was like 750 and Zig. It was a bad pool, shitty pool. And Zig's like, I don't know, man. I was like, you know what? No, I don't care. No, I'm doing 8. I want it. I pulled 8, got it, and then I hear Willie and them all go about that jump to 9.
Yeah,
and I was just
sorry
like,
about that.
my whole thought was just. Yes, I was like,
Got
I've never
him.
been happy to like be like, you know what? Yes, like thank you.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go home.
Yeah,
Right, I'm hungry.
Perseverance Fitwear. It was FW.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
got one of the because sorry not to stop you. But when I was there, I was disappointed because I wore a 3X shirt with like a 2X pants, right? Because my body's fucking weird. And
Ice cream
I went at the wrong time because I wanted to catch you. I wanted to see I saw your sandbag and like watch my girlfriend and Cody and help with the union and thing and see all the people over there, pulling all them, and they ran out of 3X shirts.
Well, it is a strongman competition.
I know, and I know better. I learned that from Beer Muscles my first time a couple years ago.
Like
And I went, hey, you got 3X? And they went, nope.
the
Next booth?
amount of people in the size of 2X, 3X, 4, like the percentage increase is like 400% at strongman competitions.
You know what pissed me off?
So like there's more smalls and extra smalls. Those are
Yeah.
the mediums and larges. Are there there all
like
the
Christine
time.
sizes. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
it's not
normal
fair.
people sizes are there, but the big size, nah.
Well, see, that's
luck.
the thing. Is like there, I couldn't get my size because it gets taken by other people who are as big as me. Then I go to like the outlets, and I'm like, that shirt looks cool.
And they don't have it.
XL. Hey, quick question. Do you have any 3Xs?
No, we don't get that size.
Go online. There might be. I'm like, I am fat, thank you. We're back to the Harry Potter problem.
Oh, the rides.
Yeah. What, I see you pondering?
No, I got the same problems. I just don't shop in malls.
Yeah.
Do you do all your shopping online?
Pretty much. Dude, I have a size. Depending on the shoe, I'm 14 or 15 in the shoe.
Dang.
2, 3X shirt, depending on the shirt. I need,
So when was the last time you've been to a mall?
Dude, are they even still a thing?
Or outlets? So let's all the
Outlets are pretty cool, I will say.
We'll say the outlets.
Yo, Annie Ann's pretzels?
Not this year.
Not this year.
Definitely not this year.
So you do all your Christmas shop. You're a big Cyber Monday
Christmas
kind of
shopper.
dude.
I got a wife, bro. She
Oh,
takes
so
care of all
you,
that.
oh yeah, I forgot. She's
wonderful.
the boss.
She is the boss.
It-
She also takes care of me.
He's the third kid.
Dude, it's so funny because I'm like, hey, Dad, you want to get sushi today? Or like today? Because you guys be around me with the podcast. And he goes, go ask the boss. Hey, Mom, you
So-
look awesome today.
I asked for this, though. I'm going to put Marissa's business out there. When I met her, I was actually telling this to Amy today at the gym. I was like, when I met Marissa, like when we first started dating, I wasn't sure how she maintained life. Because she had a rough childhood. She's been on her own basically since she was 16. I met her when she was 21. So there's a number of years there where she was on her own. She couldn't cook. Her the first time she brought her car to my house, I could smell the oil burning. She didn't know about changing her fucking oil. Her finances were a nightmare. She didn't have any money saved. No clue what her bills were. Yada yada yada. She was a mess. So for the first couple of years of our relationship, I was the responsible one. I took care of everything. And then, I went through my rough times in life. Needed her to step up. She became this business-minded, handle shit woman. Awesome. But now the roles have completely reversed. I never know at any given point how much money we have, if the bills are paid. She handles all of it, dude, and it's sick. And I love her for it. But I'm also becoming a 40-year-old child because of it, because she takes care of me. I still cook better than she does, though.
Oh, really?
And I do the dishes.
Oh, you do the dishes?
I do the dishes.
Oh,
Do you do
she's going to hear
laundry?
this now.
Do you do the laundry?
I'm not allowed to do the laundry
Why?
because I don't do a good enough job.
What do you mean?
I don't put the soap in the correct way. I definitely don't fold them the right way.
Don't you just
What?
toss it in there?
Nope, that's not right. I don't know what I do wrong. It's just never right. My wife has OCD issues when it comes to cleaning.
So do you fold it?
No, oh God, no, I can't fold it. I don't fold things right.
Can you fold a fitted sheet?
No.
No.
Can you?
I
Can you?
watched that TikTok.
Can you?
I know what video you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I tried it. Cannot do it.
Can't?
No.
It's not that bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say can't. I cannot yet.
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 We don't fail,
you're
we
gonna
only learn.
you're gonna practice folding a fitted sheet.
No. Yeah. Timmy Sizeloff is gonna love that quote. Not that you guys know who that is, but it's my old wrestling coach. Oh, oh my gosh,
Spit it out.
coach, that jiu-jitsu.
Officer Phillips?
No,
No.
He comes every Sunday.
Oh,
Why-
Spence.
Fuck. Spence. I'm sorry, dude. I really hate myself. Can't hate me any more than I hate myself. He'll probably know him too. Yeah, I was surprised how small of a world it was until
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this guy goes, yeah. I'm like,
Good addition to class, man. He's loving it.
I had to go.
I'm scared to make
I don't want
somebody
to
that good at jiu-jitsu
stronger.
crazy stronger, though, too. It's kind of scary proposition.
But he's on our side.
Hopefully.
Think about it that way.
Well, yeah, I've never rolled with him, but, I'm scared of the day it happens.
Yeah, he reminds you a lot of Adam Greeley. Greeley. In the way of in the way of
Adam broke my finger.
Exactly. Stupid strong. And they don't care how big you are.
No.
They're taking you down. And they're the nicest people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It took 6 months and it's still crooked. That's fine.
Zig gets hurt at jiu-jitsu and doesn't like.
I'm 40, dog.
He does, but he doesn't like
Cuarenta
take care of
años.
it. He's just like, I'm just gonna keep coming. I'm like, what do you mean?
Mind
That's
you,
what she
I know
said.
we're running out of time here, but mind you that like I come from like fuck you punk rock background, and then when I got into like health and fitness, like it was in a do or die survival situation. So now like I still carry that mentality. They're like, okay, my shoulder's fucked up. I guess I'm squatting. Like it's not an excuse not to do anything. We're gonna keep working.
That's how I think too. Like if my shoulder's messed up or whatever's messed up, like I'm gonna I'll give this a couple days. I'm gonna squat today or I'm gonna SSB instead of having to.
Yeah,
But you
I
get to
get
a point where you got so much things messed up. You gotta step back for a second.
it's hard, man. It's in the medicine.
Well,
I'll tell you what though. Speaking of this finger thing though, that was a rough injury for Strongman.
oh yeah, you had a rough time.
Because
With
for a while, everything I touched was searing pain up my left arm. So like grabbing sandbags sucked, grabbing stones sucked, wrapping around a bar sucked. So it's like even holding a back squat sucked. Like anything I had to touch with my left hand for the first like 2 months.
Did you have a sandbag comp in a comp with that?
Yeah, dude, you remember I had it like
Oh yeah.
I had probably 10 pounds of tape wrapped around it to like do my competition. Just completely immobilized it.
Are
Just
you
got the work done.
Are you a long arm squatter? Or are you
Yes,
like a
long arms.
okay?
Dude, I'm completely immobile. I have to be a long arm squatter.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, boys. So we'll have to call this Chipotle and wrap it up.
Oh, don't talk about food. I'm starving.
Yo, I haven't eaten yet, bro.
Don't
Well,
say
that's
it.
not like I did have Dunkin'. Speaking of Dunkin', anyways, bad joke. But gentlemen, thank you for coming on today. I'm sorry I wasn't prepared, but I do really enjoy talking to you guys because when I started season 2, and I had the OGs, and I was sitting here and I was talking with all them, and they are amazing.
I wasn't coming back till you had them.
Dude. Yeah, Sonny. I thought Sonny was gonna kill me.
He
and-
might.
Dude, listen.
I think he would.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm so glad he's on our side because that motherfucker is so mentally fucking keen
That's the goal, man.
and so strong.
Sharp as a razor.
He is sharp.
sharp.
Him, Sam, Doug, all of them.
They're the A team.
They are the A team.
They're the A team.
Gotta pull a cigar out. Oh, I love when a plan comes together.
Actually, so speaking of Spence, a funny story, we'll wrap it up with that. When Spence first joined the gym, like his first day that I saw him in there, Sonny and Sam and the crew were all in there.
Oh, man.
And I was like, here, Spencer, come with me. He's like, why? I'm like, these guys are in charge. Like, you need to go up. They're like the mafia. You need to say hello.
They are
show them
mutant mafia.
Show them their respect. Get to know. And, of course, they're like, Sonny and Sam in like their glorious ways. I'm like, hey, guys, this is my buddy Spence. He just joined the gym. Oh, your friend is Ziggy. You're a friend of mine. Ah, and they brought him right in. And they were hugging him and hugging him. And I was like, dude, see, look, you're in now. You got friends for life.
Yeah, those guys don't know it, but, like, they actually saved my life. They have no idea. But, like, yeah, I was in a bad way when I came to the gym in 10. I was in a bad way.
Those are some good role models to have.
They're awesome. But, guys, thank you again. Guys, everyone that's checking out, check out Perseverance. What is it again?
Fitwear. Perseverance
Fitwear.
It's at the gym if you want to grab some. Go
Yep.
online.
Good t-shirt.
Help some vets.
Love a good
Yep,
T-shirt.
they're awesome. As it helps the vets. So,
Especially when it's a good cause.
yeah. So, gentlemen, I will see you. I mean, I see you a lot now. So,
See you
cool.
later this week. See you.
Peace.